Hey everyone, it is Squids. How you all doing? It's been a couple of weeks. Today's video, I got kind of an interesting topic, something that's came up to me personally in my head a lot that I haven't exactly wondered why, but now I'm kind of starting to think about it, and I decided to make a video about it. So today I wanted to deep dive into Kakegurui and why it had so much mainstream success, considering the factors of what it's about, the premise, versus all these other mainstream ones. So, to get into that, the first thing I always notice is you've got your main contenders right now with the mainstream media. As an example, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Naruto. So, what do those have in common? You gotta ask yourself, compared to Kakegurui. Now, my personal opinion, there is anime that you appreciate for the art, and then there is anime that you appreciate for the actual in-depth stuff. You got your different categories, as in plot. That's a pretty big one, in my opinion. You got plot, character development, the animation style. Obviously, story kind of falls in the plot, and action, and if it's like a romance, you just split categories between that. Now, with all these mainer ones like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, for example, we'll go with these two first. They look great. Don't get me wrong. The animation in those is superb. If I wasn't a stickler about quality of everything else, I would love those things to death. When Demon Slayer first came out, I watched, I want to say almost the whole first season, and I was just disappointed. So the animation is great, right? But after the first 4 or 5 episodes, after he gets his training done with that one guy, it drags on. The whole story is just, it's boring. There's nothing to it. Granted, there could be more after season 1 into the movie to season 2 to get the plot moving forward. There's no plot moving forward. Characters aren't interesting. Got Nezuko. She's cute. That's about it. And then like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. Great animation, great fight scenes. Awesome. But the thing is, there's no development. If you're looking for something that's just a straightforward fight, you got it. The mainstream media, what they sell you for anime, in my personal opinion, it looks great. There's not much to it because we wouldn't want people having to think about plots. And 3, it's accessible. If they push it hard enough, people are going to love it for the animation, and they're going to stay because of the characters, but they don't have any development, and the story doesn't move forward. So, with that out of the way, that's just, and like My Hero Academia, for example, as well. I've watched the first whole season. There's a little development, with All Might and that's Deku Nuts, and I just drug out too long. There's a fine line between spacing out your story and having a good pace, each episode developing characters, plot moving forward. There can be filler, but there is good filler. And an anime that is an example that does not have good filler, that gets way too much credit, that I do like, Dragon Ball series. They have terrible filler episodes. Do I watch them? Oh yeah. But the thing is, especially the second half, if you look at like Piccolo and Vegeta and Krillin, their development's amazing. Vegeta's a completely opposite person of what he was in the first, half of the show. Into Super. And even if you count GT, fuck it, we'll say GT, because I enjoy GT. Controversial as that is. Vegeta develops, he turns out from this evil ass guy into this guy that's a family man, who'll do anything for his family to make sure they live. Sure, he still goes after power. That's the same thing. But, develop. Krillin. Loser. Weak chain. End of Z to Super. Easily take out many of the main villains. He's still not a top tier fighter, but he is a lot stronger than people give him credit for. He has a kid, he has a wife, he's got a job, he's developed, and you know what? him and Goku's relationship is better than it ever was. And then Piccolo, for example, he's just like Vegeta. The only difference is he's more like a grandpa figure now. And that's kind of cool, and I love that because Piccolo is one of my favorite characters of all time. With that, that adds to it. But their fillers are also shit. So, with that out of the way, you gotta ask yourself, how did Kakegurui get so popular with the mainstream media? Considering the fact that there's 2 seasons, Netflix has the rights to it, which really sucks. I just got the Blu-rays, both seasons of it recently, and I'm fucking happy with it. I was afraid of that because when Netflix owns stuff, they should release crappy stuff once they give the rights to release things, DVD and all that stuff. These were released from Sentai Filmworks. They did fantastic, and I'm very happy about that. But back to the point here, what made people attached to it so much? Because unlike those things, Kakegurui has a subtle plot that continuously raises every episode, very interesting characters, an animation that is not top tier, but it's still good. So what was it? I mean, you've got Yumiko Jabami, excuse me, as your main protagonist, if you want to call her that, I guess, who is essentially going out and fighting the council to try to make her way to the top and become president. And it's not a big deal to her. All she cares about is gambling. Gambling is her turn on, and it gets her good. And she's got her good friend Ryuta Suzy, and he's a really good sub character because she ends up being able to change him a little bit at a time, and it's subtly noticeable to get his gambling freak on, and it's amazing. So what I thought about it after I rewatched it, and I haven't rewatched it since it first aired, so you got 2017 to 2019. There should be a season 3. It's not promised. Don't take my word for it, but there should be a season 3 considering Netflix has to get the game how high it's doing right now, anime, and that was one of the main hot sellers. So it's insane because you have just kind of go over characters and stuff, and like Midari, the crazy one with the eye patch, ripped her eye out. You've got Runa, the little girl that's a mediator, I guess, technically speaking. Yeah, I love her to death. I love it. I can't help it. Then you got the president, Kiari, and then her sister, Rurika. If I pronounce those wrong, I'm sorry. Prez and the vice prez. And then you've got characters like Ray, who ended up being, that's season 2 though, but ends up being, this deceitful character. And you go through the anime, and at first you're like, oh, okay, she's crazy. And then you realize what's going on with her and how she is, and it's relatable to an extent, I guess, because, we all take our own gambles in life and get off on them. We all have our vices. So I guess there is that fact that it is a relatable plot and anime. But, like I said, they've got these scenes in there, for example, where they'll get their faces really focused on and get that art style that I don't feel like a lot of people like. Like, I know one of my exes, I started watching with her back in the day when it first came out, and she was not a fan because of that reason, which is insane because, that's not some of my favorite animation plots, is focus on and get that crazy face going. That is what it's about. Another reason why I don't quite understand is, technically speaking, there is no action. There's not really a action and then a receiving end. You've got your gambling, but most of the time, Yumiko is going to win, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, it's relatable because her and, for example, the president, Kiari, they're both in love with just risk, and that's it. If you think about it, there is an end goal, and I'd almost consider it more or less a sports almost, because there's no, like I said, no violence. There's actual character development, which is kind of shocking, and then we already technically know the end goal, and we've got obstacles to get there. But at the same time, Yumiko is just one of those OP MCs, and I think that has to be a draw. Obviously, it's got the cute girls, the story that does continue on, but at the same time, it's like compared to the ones I brought beforehand, it's not the same. And somehow, miraculously, it drew everybody in. So my only assumptions can be that they love the girls. They have to love the girls. And that's honestly about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because it is a great anime. I gave season 1 a 7, season 2 an 8. Because the first season was pretty much just like, here's everything. This is what the school is like. Let's get into it. Season 2 brought in some more, in-depth, I guess, risk when the main family came in to be in the election for president with the president gambling. But all in all, I mean, I can't think of any other reason. I mean, it makes sense to me, but at the same time, still wraps my mind to think about that. Why can't other really good ones make it to the top? And as controversial as it is, American audiences, in my opinion, are the be-all, end-all of anime. They think they make a big difference to what's going to come out, whether it's PC culture or just risque topics of these Americans. They think they make an impact on it, but in reality, it's about the manga sales in Japan and the promotionals, everything else. So, granted, your sales do matter a little bit, but the fact that is, most Americans pirate everything in the first place, so you're not making a difference. Second thing is, your sales compared to Japan, they don't care. You could protest and rant all you want, they don't care. Like Redo of Healer or Mashuko Tensei, the whole like, oh my god. But at the same time, it's media. Get over it, So I'm really happy with the fact that it's getting big, or technically is big. Kakegurui, I mean, she cosplays on TikTok all the time. You hear people fucking use the sound of Watashi wa te buta de obaka, it's a big idiot. People say it all the time on their sounds and stuff. So I'm really happy that it did have and has a good impact, considering that I do enjoy it, and I think it is one of the best mainstream ones that we have in the last few years that have actually gotten the attention without all the fucking hype and criticism about it. But at the same time, it wraps my mind. It really wraps my mind. So, I mean, if anybody else has any opinions on the matter, or thoughts maybe of why it got so big in the mainstream media, let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, that's about all I have for the day. I just kind of want to get my spot, spit my mind on that one, because like I said, it's great animation, it's got a decent plot and development, but you know what I'm saying? Like, compared to everything else that's really big right now, it was like the chicken that laid an extra egg. You know what I'm saying? Like, it somehow mixed its way into there. And it confuses me, but at the same time, I'm very happy about it. And I hope season 3 comes out for that one. And more than likely, I think it will, with the hype and everything else that it had going for it. So, thank you very much for watching. Give it a like if you liked it, sub if you want to, down there in the corner. And with that, thank you very much. It's been Squids. Have a good evening if it's evening. Have a good day if it's day. And have a good night if it's night. With that, I'll see you guys probably next week, maybe even earlier. Having a couple more ideas in mind. So, bye-bye.